right, it is 11 o'clock and I believe starting on time and ending on time. So we're gonna go ahead and get started here. Let me just make sure that I've got my recording going for everybody. All right, how are you guys doing today? Good, good.
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you. So today we're going to be covering designs in Command. And I want to, before I get started, I want to find out how many of you guys have used designs in Command before? And I'm trying to see if I can find a chat here. I don't think there is one for me to see. There it is. So if you guys want to shout out loud and unmute yourself, or you want to type in the chat, how many of you guys have used Command before? If you've used Command before, go ahead and just type in yes. If you've used designs in Command.
I haven't figured it out yet, honestly. I've tried to get on there and I'm just, I don't know.
No worries. All right,
Yeah.
So it looks like some of you guys have, some of you guys haven't. So we're going to kind of start with some of the basics, and then we'll get to a little bit more of the some of the more advanced features of designs. It doesn't get too advanced, which is one of the really nice things about it. It's very user-friendly once you get the hang of the layout. There's a couple of elements that kind of threw me off when I first started messing with it, and I'll make sure to point those out for you guys as well, so you don't run into the same issues I did. And then if you guys have any questions, again, feel free to unmute yourselves and ask a question at any time, or just pop into the chat, raise your hand. I'm happy to answer kind of some questions as we go. So in Command here, you're going to first be able to find designs on the left-hand side. It's going to be fifth icon from the bottom, and it says designs. It kind of looks like an iPad with a pencil there. So once you click on that, you're going to be taken to your design templates. If you have not messed with designs before, you will likely not see anything on this screen other than my design templates at the top, and then these categories up top here. So once you start creating some designs, you'll be able to sort your designs by what type they are, whether they're an email, landing page, a social media graphic, a print, which their print are like these little postcards almost, your agent site landing pages, or video. So those are going to be the options that you'll find here in designs. They may add more at some point, but that's what we have at the moment. Now on the right-hand side here, you'll also see a search. So you can actually search the designs that you have based off of what you've named them. So as you create your designs, I do recommend naming them. As you can see, I'm not the greatest at keeping that up, but it does make it easier to search them when you do have a lot of designs in here. So if you have something that you like to reuse for open houses, or for just listeds, or for market updates, I would recommend naming them so that way you can easily find them and reuse them later on. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to start by creating a new design. What I'm primarily going to focus on today is going to be the social media graphics and the video. There are email and print options. The print options I've seen a lot of people have success with. It's not something I've personally gone in and messed with yet. But they are these little postcards that you can order and then mail out to whatever niche audience you want to send them out to. So they could be promotional for an event. If you wanted to promote a listing, they have some really great options there for you. So we're going to start with social. So we're just going to check this little social option. Now at the bottom, there is an option to import photos and texts from a listing when you do this. I'm going to go ahead and check that off. And then we're going to hit next. And then it asks you what listing you want to pull that information from. So from here, you can go ahead and search for a listing. And I'm going to go ahead and see one of our listings here. Trying to see what's still on the market. So let's do this one. Okay, so this is one of our listings here. So when you search for the address, it'll pull up all of the listings that are similar, but yours should be the first one that pops up when you type in that number. So then you're going to go ahead and just hit select. It takes just a second to load here. Perfect. So then we're brought into the templates within the designs area. So on the left-hand side, you have a few different categories. You have the app. So there's a bunch of pre-designed templates in here for you to be able to promote the KW app. You have options for promoting your listings. You have options for generating buyer leads. You have just standard lead generation, so some promotionals about your website, home value estimates, event invitations, testimonials. So there's a lot of really great stuff in here. We actually used one of the testimonial ones yesterday. And then there's an I Love KW section. So a little bit about KW if you're trying to work on some recruitment opportunities or referral opportunities. Business basics. So if you need an email signature, or you need some branding for your social media channels, there's some really great options here for you guys. There's some for leadership. And then there's a new design section showing you, hey, these are the ones that we recently created that you guys can go in and play with. And then there's a new one called Pivot Shift Ahead. And I will dive into that one here in a few minutes because there are some Instagram graphics in here that we've been using that are pretty awesome. And they've actually gotten quite a bit of positive feedback when we've been posting it on social. So we're going to first go into listings for promoting any listings that you guys may have. So there's for sale options, just listed, price updates, open houses, under contract, just sold. So we're going to go ahead and I'm just going to say this is a general for sale. I actually really like this. These designs right here are brand new. I really like the look of that, very clean. So you can look and see which one of these kind of fits your guys' branding and your style the best. I recommend trying to keep your branding as consistent as possible when it comes to the designs. Try and use the same font, same color, same vibe, because you're going to want to create similar graphics going forward with that same feel. If you have something that's like this design here, it's very clean, it's very simple, but then all of a sudden you move to one of these graphics that's very retro and it's got all the sharp angles and it's modern feeling, then people are going to be confused on what your vibe is. You want them to be able to see that graphic and know it's you right off the bat. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. I'm going to do something that has a little more color to it just so I can show you guys some of the different editing options here. So let's use this guy here. So when you hover over it, you have a red use option. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And the graphics we were looking for were all for Facebook. Let me backtrack here for just a second. There are different social media options at the top before you select your graphics. So if you're looking to promote something on Facebook, they have the sizing formatted specifically to what they know performs best on Facebook. Same thing with Instagram. So Instagram is the squares. Instagram stories, if you guys have messed with stories, they're a little bit more like Pinterest, the very long graphics. You have LinkedIn, which is a rectangle, but not quite as long as Facebook. And then Twitter and Facebook are similar, but Twitter's just a tad bit shorter in the width. So if you're going to be promoting it on all platforms, you're either going to want to create one or two different graphics. I usually use the Facebook one on LinkedIn and Twitter and on Facebook, and then I create a separate one for Instagram. If you don't want to create a whole bunch of separate graphics, I recommend sticking to Instagram. Instagram's the square is fairly compatible with all social platforms. So if you're on a time crunch, go with Instagram. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to use this one here. And it's going to open up our design editor. Okay, so on the left-hand side, you have a few different editing options. They keep this area very clean and simple. So you have the option to add images, text, icons, which are kind of like, I'm trying to remember what they were called back in the day. But they're basically like little animated graphics, little cartoons. You have your logos, and then you have KWLS, so you can pull stuff from your listings. So I'm going to start with KWLS, and you can see it automatically pulls our listing from when we checked that box at the beginning and searched for our listing information there. So what you're going to do is on the left-hand side here, when you hover over an image, you have two different buttons. So you have the plus sign to add it as an image, and then you have this little grid if you want to use it as the background of the whole thing. So that would put it in this white space behind this image. If you want to replace an image, you can simply just drag and drop it on top of that image spot, and it will replace it for you. If you just click the plus sign, it's just going to pop it in the middle. So that's why they have that drag and drop option, which is awesome. If you decide you want to delete something, in the upper right-hand corner, you do have a little trash can. So you just select what you want to delete, and then you can remove it right from there. This area also gives you the option to arrange the layers. So we have like these dots that are in the corner here. So if I click on that and I want them to be behind my picture, I can select arrange, and I can choose where I want them to go. Do I want them to go back? Do I want them to go forward? Do I want them to be behind everything, or do I want them to be on top of everything? Because you'll notice if you start to kind of drag some elements around here, some things might be on top of each other. So you may want to go in and play with that arrangement. Okay. And yeah, it is very, very similar to Canva. I still find myself using Canva for certain things and using Command for certain things. So I'll still bounce back and forth depending on what I need to do. But I do find for most things that I'm doing, Command now does the trick. And their layouts are super, super simple and clean. So then when you want to edit something, you can just double click on your text. Whoops. There we go. So you just double click on the text, and then you can change it to whatever information you want here. So let's say this is 500,000. Okay. Same thing with the address. You just double click to change it. Same thing with any of the text on this page. Now, the one thing that I found that Command doesn't have by default is your licensing information. There's no easy like drag and drop or autofill with the license number. I personally find it a best practice to include your license number in all your graphics, because if for some reason it's not on your LinkedIn profile properly, at least it's on that graphic, so you can't get hit with any fines or fees there. So what I'll do is I'll copy and paste it into a piece of text on the page. So like this little guy in the bottom corner here, it's really tiny, but I'll go ahead and paste our information just right in there, just so it's on the graphic. Okay. So then on the left-hand side, you also have your logos. So I like to delete the DBA name that they have in there by default, and I like to include our own. Now, these images you can add in your library. There's no add to library button here, but I'll show you guys where that is. It was actually on the previous page before you select a template option. So you can actually pop in different variations of your logo. So we have like a white version in case the graphic is dark and we want to put it somewhere where it stands out a little better. And then we also have our colored version here. So again, you just click on it, and then you can drag and resize and place it where you want it to go. Okay. And then on here, you also have company logos. So they have all the different KW logos here for you. They've also got labs. They've got the DBA. These are just placeholders. It doesn't actually put the KW Las Vegas. You want to make sure you have that in there. And then they've got a bunch of different miscellaneous ones. They've got the Equal Housing Opportunity, the National Association of Realtors. So if you guys need those graphics on there, they have these already for you guys. So there's no need to upload those separately. If you wanted to add a different image, you do have your branding images. So if you filled out your agent profile in Command in your settings, your logo and your agent picture will pop up here for you to be able to use. So if you wanted to put your picture in here, you can just click on it and again, just resize it to whatever size you want it to go. And then you can add that to your graphic. There's also company photos. So they have app images, which are really nice, showcasing the benefits of the app if you're doing an app promotion. They've got lifestyle at home, showing people just having fun at their house, activities, people riding their bikes, cooking, boating. They've got neighborhood pictures, which I use a lot of these neighborhood pictures and the housing pictures for the market updates. So they've got these house types. So they've got really nice like staged living rooms and front of houses and things like that that you're able to utilize. If you guys are looking for more stock pictures, I recommend checking out either Canva. Canva has quite a bit, or Pixabay. This is a tool that allows you to find a bunch of different free stock images. So if I were to type in living room, here's a bunch of different living room graphics that you're able to download. You can upload them into Canva or into designs. So if you go back to, let's see. So if you go back to images and then click add, there's an option here for you to upload your own graphics. They won't save in that area. So it's just a one-time use. You would have to re-upload it again later on. So I would recommend saving these pictures in maybe a folder on your computer somewhere that you'd be able to reuse. But really great resources for you guys. So that way you're not using the same 10 living room photos over and over again in your marketing. Okay, and this website is Pixabay. Let me put that in the chat for you guys. Okay, so once you're done designing your graphic here, I think this would be ready for promotion. At the top right corner, you have the option to download the image. So if you want to download it to your computer and then blast it out from there, you can. There's also a share option. Let's see if that wants to load here for us. And from here, you can share directly to Facebook or Twitter or Pinterest. It doesn't have any other options at the moment, but if I were to click on Facebook, then it's going to automatically pop up my Facebook account from my account settings. So if you haven't set that up in your command account settings yet, you'll want to go in and do that first. And then you'll have the app option here to go ahead and type in whatever message you want. So you could say, this mid-mod home for sale in McNeil is whatever you want to put on there. And then you can share it and it will blast it directly to Facebook. And if you prefer just going straight to Facebook, again, you can just download it. Okay. Any questions on just using one of their simple listing graphics or any of those editing options in there? So how did you get the circle with the 500,000? So this was actually part of the template that was in there already, but let's say it's not here and I want to pop one in there. At the top, there's the option for shapes. So I can add a shape in here, resize it to how I want. You have your color options at the top. So anything that you click on, you're going to see different editing options at the top. So you have your text options, you have some photo options. When we click on the shape, we have different options for that one. So I have the colors. and there's template colors that they have by default, or there's an option to set up your own palette of colors that fit your branding that you're able to reuse. So we have, I'll show you guys that in a second, but we have set up ours here. So I'm going to change that color. And then on the left side, you have text, and you can add whatever text you want. So they've got text pulled from your company info. They've also got some different banner designs. So they've got some really cool pre-formatted text options in here if you want to use those, or you can just add some simple text. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a subtitle, which was way bigger than I thought it was going to be. I'll bring that down here. And I'll type in 500,000. And I'm going to go up to the top and I will make that white. And there you go. So if it's not there by default and you want something like that, that would be the way to set it up. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and in the upper right-hand corner, let's say I'm all done creating it. I'm done sharing it. I'm going to go ahead and hit done in the upper right corner, and I'll go ahead and save that one. Why not? Okay. So if you guys want to add additional logos for your graphics that you can reuse over and over again, or you guys want to set up your custom branding colors, it is going to be when you click on the plus sign in the lower right corner and you go to design your graphic. Before you choose a template here, there's going to be a button in the upper right corner that says library. If you click on that, then you have your company details. You have your tagline, your brief story. You can add your vision in here. And then here's where you can add more images. So this is your most commonly used images and backgrounds. Your different logos. So this is where we've uploaded the white version of our logo. We've morphed the KW Las Vegas and our logo together. I did that in Canva and then uploaded it in here. And then you've also got your brand kit where you can add your own custom fonts. So if you have a font file that you like to use, you can upload that in here. And then you can set up your custom branding colors. And then there's no save button here. So once you're done adding everything, you just hit the X to close out and that will automatically save for you guys. Okay. All right. So I'm going to share with you guys. This is something that we actually, I'm going to shout out Julie Youngblood here. We saw Julie doing this and we decided to kind of pick it up a little bit too, is in designs in the pivot shift ahead section, they've got these how's the market graphics. And we've been posting these every morning. So we'll wake up, we'll go into designs, we'll pull open GLVAR and we'll look at the stats and we'll share the stats with our Instagram and our Facebook, our LinkedIn and our Twitter followers, just to kind of let them know, hey, real estate is still happening right now. Okay. So you can choose whichever one of these you want. I've used all of them at this point, but I've tweaked them a little bit for our own branding. But I would recommend changing it up rather than using the same one over and over again. They're all fairly similar, so you wouldn't have to worry too much about branding consistency on these. So you hit use on these just like you normally would for the other template. And then on here, if you want to change the text to go with your branding, you just click on the text and you've got your font options at the top. So for example, we changed this to the Liar script and I changed this to Las Vegas. And I changed this to Las Vegas housing market in the last 24 hours. Okay. And then you just have to go in and change these numbers to match whatever numbers GLVAR is giving you at that moment. So however many new listings, new contracts and closings have happened in the last 24 hours. You want to make sure that you change the updated date to whatever today's date is. And then when it says information taken from source, you want to put LVR. And then again, it doesn't put your license information in here by default. So I've been putting the license information where they have that disclaimer that each office is independently owned and operated. And then you want to put your logo and the office logo on here as well. And then this image we've been changing every time. So you can start by using the image that they give you. You can find one on Pixabay, or you can go into the images that they give you here. And you can drag and drop one that you like in its place. Okay. Now, if this is something that agents are going to be using pretty often, I would recommend maybe finding your own images on Pixabay, just so that way you're not using those same stock photos as every other agent that your audience might be seeing, if that's a possibility that they're going to be seeing quite a few of them. I know we will because we're agents, but your audience might not be seeing multiples of these. Okay. And then again, when you're done, you just download it and pop it into your social media platforms, or even in emails if you want to send email updates letting people know, hey, here's what's going on in the market. Okay. I did forget to mention here in the upper left corner, they do have an undo button. They didn't have one when they first launched designs, which was a pain in the butt. But now they do. So if for some reason you make an oops, you can just go in the upper left-hand corner and you can undo and redo whatever you've done. Okay. Any questions so far before I move on to some of the more automated stuff in designs? All right. I will keep an eye. I'm not seeing anything coming in so far. I'm not going to save that one. Okay. Also, if at any time you guys wind up having any issues in designs, one thing to keep in mind is try not to do your most heavy design work on Tuesdays or Thursdays, because that's typically when Command does their updates. So if you run into any issues there, that's probably what's going on. But if you do run into an issue, they have a separate support chat for designs than they do for standard Command. So that's going to be when you're editing one of your designs here, it's going to be in the lower left corner. And you can type in whatever your issue is, and they'll give you some suggestions, or you can click get in touch and chat with a rep live. But they're pretty good at responding quick. Even if you catch them out after hours, within 24 to 48 hours, I've gotten emails back. Bless you. Oh, bless you.
Oh, sorry. I thought I muted myself. Sorry.
You're good. All right, perfect. So we're going to go in and we're going to create another social design here to get back to our templates. So there is a template in here for the neighborhood snaps. How many of you guys have messed with neighborhood snapshots in regards to setting your contacts up on reports? Haven't you guys done that? All right, I'm not seeing much feedback, so I'm going to assume no. You did one for yourself to see how it works. Okay, awesome. So in the neighborhood snaps, it's kind of like a market update that you're sending to your clients based on whatever neighborhood you have set up for them, or whatever neighborhood they live in. So these are graphics that pull that same data that you can then share on social. So for example, if you're in a group, if you're in the Summerlin group, or if you've created your own group for your neighborhood, or you have an email list or anything like that, these will be really great for those audiences. So we're going to go ahead and choose one of these. It doesn't really matter which one yet. All right, so what we're gonna do here, all of these editing options are standard, kind of what we had gone over before with changing the images and the text. So nothing's different there. But on this graphic here, and let's see. So if you go ahead and click on the graphic, and then on the left-hand side, you have KWLS. Instead of pulling our listing, we're gonna pull a snapshot. Now somebody give me a neighborhood in the city that you guys focus on. I want to use one of you guys as an example here. Southern Terrace. Let's see. Doesn't look like it's recognizing that one. There we go. So it gets real specific here. So like Summerlin, it doesn't consider a neighborhood. It's the little tiny subdivisions that it looks like it classifies. So let's see, the Mesa. Nope. So you can see you got to really figure out which subdivision it's popping in here. We're going to go ahead and just stick with the Vistas, just because I know that one's popping up here for us. So we have the Vistas North in Summerlin. So if you click on that neighborhood, it gives you 3 different graphics here that you can pull onto your template. And you don't have to choose one of their market update templates. You can really choose any of them, but there's 3 different designs here. So this is the design that this template has. So we're just going to click and drag. Ooh, maybe not. It had it as our background. There we go. I'm just going to click on it once. And then we're going to pop it in here. And this is the most recent report that they have pulled on that specific neighborhood. Okay, so there's no data that you need to go do research on. It automatically pulls it from KWLS, which is really cool. Saves you a lot of time. So it's got the average listing price, the average sale price, how many active listings, pending listings, average day on market, and the average price per square feet. Same thing on this one. It's just a landscape graphic. And then you have one that is just the map of where that area is. Okay, so you'd want to find out what those subdivisions really are and how they're being reported in command. I know that some people have submitted feedback that some of them are not as accurate depending on the area. So you got to be patient with them a little bit. And if you happen to notice, hey, this subdivision, it is an area, it's not showing up on here, go ahead and chat them or email, and they'll be happy to help out or submit that feedback. They won't know unless we tell them. Okay, so that's a really cool way to get that market information out there without having to do all the extra work of the research. Any questions on that at all? Or is that something that you guys think you might use on a fairly regular basis to kind of help engage your people, engage your audience, engage potential buyers that are in those areas, or even potential sellers in those areas to kind of see what their home might be worth or what's going on in their neighborhood? Perfect. All right, so we're going to go ahead and hit done on this guy. Okay, and now you can see some of these that we were creating are showing up in our library now, which is awesome. So if you want to go in and reuse it, or if you want to go in and play with it a little bit, you can. You can also rename it right from here. So you just click on the 3 dots on whatever graphic you want, and you can rename it. So I'm going to rename this the Vistas Market Update, and that was the Vistas North. And then you can also make a copy of it if you want to use that same template, but you want to change just a couple small things, then you can make a copy of it rather than starting over from scratch. Can they help with high-rise neighborhood support? Are you saying, Constance, that the neighborhoods are too big and they're not actually focusing in on that high-rise? They might be able to. I would reach out to them. I believe that you can reach out to them at support@kw.com and let them know. They're really, really supportive when it comes to our feedback, because they can't build a successful system without the agents letting them know what's going on the ground level. So any suggestions that you have, any questions that you have, reach out to them directly. They're going to be the best resource for help and improvements with the system. They've already made so many improvements already, so our feedback is definitely appreciated.
Yeah, like, because like those neighborhoods are kind of surrounded by like super low end.
Yeah.
So numbers don't work for the neighborhood snaps, and that's what I'm challenged with right now. So I'll reach out to them.
Yeah, reach out to them directly. And I'm sure that's not the first time they've gotten feedback on that, but the more they hear about it, the more urgent they know that needs to be resolved, and it might move higher on their priority list. Okay. So we're going to pop in here and we're going to do, there's a really cool option in here for a video design. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and I'm going to hit next. So this kind of pulls from the same neighborhood thing. So in the neighborhoods, I'm going to go ahead and do, let's just keep with the theme of the vistas because we know it's pulling that up. Okay, so you find your neighborhood, you hit next. Now in here, it automatically pulls information from KWLS just like that graphic did. But if something in here isn't accurate, you can go in and change it. Or if you want to add a different stat in there, you can go in and change that. So we've got average home price. You can change whether it's on the rise, decline, or steady. Average price per square foot, same thing, on the rise, decline, or holding steady. Number of homes for sale, average days on market. And then it has neighborhood features, and it asks for the top 3. And sometimes this may not be 100% accurate. I'm not sure how it pulls that data, but you can go in and change it. So it's saying Summerlin in the Vistas North, they're into athletic gear, daytime leisure, and hops and brews. I know in Summerlin, they're also really big on their dogs. So animal advocates might be something that we want to pop in there instead. But you can see there's a whole bunch, fitness oriented, hipster, that's funny. Lots of dancing, moviegoers. So there's a lot of really cool options in here. Outdoorsy, wine lovers. So you can change that if you want to. You just click the X to remove it, and then you can choose another one from the list. You've got your agent information. So you can just make sure that that's up to date and accurate. Or let's say you run a team and you want your team's info to pop up on this video instead, or an agent on your team, you can just change that information right from here. And then you've got your market center information. Now this does automatically pull in your license number from your profile, which is awesome. So there's no extra work really needed there. Then we're going to hit next. And it's going to create a really cool neighborhood video for us. It'll take just a minute there. Now, I don't know if it's going to play the sound here for you guys, but the video itself is still pretty cool. Yep. There we go. So it creates a quick little video for you guys with that information. So similar to how we created those market stat graphics with the information we pulled from GLVAR, you can create one of these videos maybe once a week or once a month, and send it out to your people. Hey, here's what's going on in your neighborhood today, in case you were interested. Did you know that you have that the average price is this at the moment? Here's a quick breakdown. Or if you have somebody interested in moving to a neighborhood, hey, here's a little more about it. So these are really cool to share, all live stats in the moment. Once you're done, you can save it, and it will save it here in your design templates. So you could just click on video. You've got them in here, and then you can download the video. You can automatically use it in your campaigns. You can automatically share it to social. You can rename it, or you can remove it. And this is something I would put on, upload to Facebook directly. If you have a YouTube channel, maybe go pop it onto YouTube. Again, these are great. You can pop into emails. So, and people like video, and video tends to stand out more on social than graphics do. Just because they do move, they're going to grab their eye much easier. You can't change the music, but if you download it and you use another editor like iMovie or something like that, you can put your own audio over it instead. I would recommend doing that if you're going to do it on a regular basis, so people don't think they're watching the same video over and over and over again. Cool. All righty. Trying to think if there's anything else major here. Those are like the big tips and tricks with designs. The next step would just be kind of playing with the layouts and seeing which ones you love the best in here, and change it up a little bit, play with them, figure out which ones are your favorites, and save them in your library for you guys to be able to reuse. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open it up for Q&A here, because I believe I've covered all the major stuff, and I'm not sure if you guys have anything specific that you've wanted to see or that you were curious about, or a certain template that you're interested in. So the video does not.
Sabrina,
Yeah.
I'm just wondering about that question is if you wanted to, like, do you have to recreate this every week with the new stats, or it won't like just pull?
It won't. You would have to go in and recreate it.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a stats pulled based on that day. You can manually change the stats if you wanted to do it for the month, but you would have to pull your own reporting on that. But then, yeah, next time you wanted to use it, you would have to go in and recreate it. So if we went back to our videos here, I don't think it'll let you, yeah, it won't let you edit the information after the fact. So you would have to go back into a new video, find the neighborhood, and then recreate it. Little bit of extra work, but that might be some feedback that you might want to submit to them to make them editable, or have them automatically re-update from KWLS. And if you go to, I believe it's ideas.kw.com, you can submit feedback for suggestions that you want to see added. And you'll also see suggestions that other people have made. So if we type in video, here's all the different video options that people have put in there. So if somebody already has a suggestion, vote for it. The more votes an idea has, the more likely they're going to be to implement it. If you don't see it in here, then you can post a new idea and other people can vote on it. Okay.
Can you add your own pictures into that video? Like if you have neighborhood pictures of the community pool or things like that?
Not yet. I would bet that would be something that they're going to add in at some point, but at the moment it's just their own little graphics here. There is a really cool tool called Animoto, where you can create your own quick videos. and they have text overlays. You can add your own images in there. So if you have the stats, or if you pop into command and go to create a new video and it gives you those stats automatically, you can go into a tool like Animoto and pop them in yourself. And this is pretty easy. It's a drag and drop type tool that you can put your own pictures and videos in.
Great, thanks.
My pleasure. All right. Marlene, you asked, how did you get here? I'm not sure where I was when you asked that. Was it this video screen?
Yeah, just when you first started, I think I missed how you got to do the templates and the define. I know you clicked on that little box right there, and then it takes you here.
Yeah, so if you click on designs on the left side, then you go, it takes to your templates. If you click the video box, it'll take you to videos you've already created. If you don't have one yet, you can click on the plus sign in the lower right corner, go to video, and then you can create your video from there.
Awesome, thank you.
My pleasure. All right. Is there anything specific anybody else would like to see with designs? It's pretty repetitive once you get the hang of those basics that are in there. It's pretty much you just pick what design you want. And then if you want to make it compatible for like Instagram and you already have a Facebook one, what I recommend doing is like, let's say it's a listing, a for sale listing. So we designed one earlier using this template. So if I wanted to recreate one to then post on Instagram, then I could click on Instagram and they have that same template in an Instagram layout. So you would have to go in and make those same changes, add your picture, change the price, type in the address, but they have the layout already designed for you. So if you have the time to do that, it's recommended because it does perform better on those platforms when it is in the proper sizing. But like I said, if you just don't have the time, you can't really go wrong with just choosing an Instagram graphic. That square is pretty friendly on all platforms. Okay. With these graphics, what I would probably recommend doing as well, just kind of as a best practice, is if you create a graphic for a listing and you're promoting that listing, let's say once a week, I would not use the same graphic over and over again. I also wouldn't use the same picture over and over again. People are going to be attracted to different things. So you want to try and find that sweet spot with each one of your people. So one week post the kitchen, another week post the pool, another week post the living room, because the kitchen may not be an important factor for somebody, but the pool might. And you can use that same template if you want to, if you're changing the picture. If you're not changing the picture, then I would choose a different template. Because I know sometimes with some listings, you don't have a professional photographer in there yet. You've only got one good picture. So if you're going to do that, just change the layout a little bit so it doesn't look like the same graphic over and over again. Cool. Any other questions here, or any best practices that you guys have found with designs that you enjoy? And you can unmute yourselves. It's a full chat. Don't be shy.
No, but it's very helpful. They're super helpful. Great job.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Play around with it.
Yeah, definitely play around with it. I actually kind of want to challenge everybody to go in. If you have time today, go in and create one. Play with it. See what you guys, see how you feel about it. If you guys have any questions about it at all. They do have some really great ones in here for, oh, that's new. They have Zoom backgrounds now.
Oh, that's good.
That's new. So this is in that pivot shift ahead. So you can actually go in and put your branding and your content in here and use it as your Zoom background. So that's pretty cool. They've got some helpful tips in here that you can, you can just pop your logo in here and download as is. You don't really need to do too much with it. But they've got choose your quarantine house, which is fun. No device activities for kids, how to budget wisely, how to stay connected with family and friends. So they're putting tips and tricks on here that you can share on social. So it's not all real estate related. Let's see. So how do we save it to My Designs after creating? So once you're done creating a graphic, there's going to be a done button. So let's go ahead and I'll pop into this guy here. Okay, so we have choose your quarantine house. Let's say I edited it how I wanted to. When you click on done in the upper right corner, it's going to automatically save it or prompt you to save it. It'll say, hey, you haven't changed or saved any of your changes. Do you want to save it? Yes or no? If you hit yes, then it will automatically put it in your design templates for you to reuse. And it does order it by your most recently created or edited graphic. And then you can filter up at the top by what you created. And this will be recorded. It's actually being streamed live on Facebook in the 605 group. So if you guys want to go back and rewatch this, I know we moved kind of fast on some things. You can go in and do that from there. And that playback's not going to go away. That'll be in there for you guys.
That's awesome.
Great.
I can
Thank you
take it a
so
little
much.
slower then.
Yes. Yeah, you can go back in and rewind and rewind and rewind.
Yeah,
We've got it all in there for you guys.
you're very clear though. I mean, you're very straightforward with it. I appreciate that.
Yeah, my pleasure. All
Thanks
right.
so much.
My pleasure. It doesn't seem like anybody has any additional questions, which means I did my job. So again, if you guys have any feedback or questions at all, use that chat in the system or email support@kw.com. They've been really, really helpful with any glitches or anything that may not be going right or feedback that you guys may have. All right.
Perfect.
So we're going to go ahead and wrap up a little early here if nobody else has any questions, and I'll let you guys hop on your other 50 Zoom calls you probably have going on today.
Awesome. Thank you, Sabrina.
My
Thank you.
pleasure. Have a great day.
Great job.
Have a
Great
good
job.
weekend, everybody.
You too. Stay safe.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Bye.